DC here. Hi guys and gals. Well, hope you're all well. Today is Thursday, and it's been a big week up to now for different reasons, but yeah, both work-wise, and we've had some guests over yesterday. But it's been I would say a relatively satisfying week. And tonight I got to do garden work, because on the weekend we have what's called La Fête des Vignerons. La Fête des Vignerons, or like we could say the vine dressers, or the people who had the vineyards. Every generation here, I might have mentioned it in one of the last videos, but every generation here, so in other words, every 22 to 29 years, they've got like a certain amount of latitude where they can do it, but there has to be a big due, and it's this year. And so we're going on Saturday with the company, and it's offered to all of the management staff and their wives. So it's a nice gift from the company. And next week is Ireland. Yeah, I haven't been in a long time. Well, actually, it's been about 2 months, and I'm looking forward to it. I mean, I've got a lot of stuff to discuss, and I'm flying out on the Monday and coming back on the Friday, so it's going to be a busy time. First meeting will be already on Monday evening, so we'll see. Anyway, so how is it going to go? So yeah, anything particular? Well, I have been seeing some articles and I was going to say podcasts or something about which I was finding quite interesting. It was about what do you do when you know you're right, and you don't want to be insufferable. And I thought that's a pretty interesting topic, actually, because I'm not saying that there are certain situations where there could be a yes and a no answer, but there are sometimes situations where you know what the right answer is. You just know. And if the people around you are not going to follow suit, you have different ways of handling the thing. I mean, you can be insufferable and be a I know it all person. Depending on the situation, you can just let it go. And if it's not something where people are going to hurt themselves, well, it's probably not such a bad thing. It can be a learning experience. If it's things in politics, for example, well, sometimes it might just be better also to just shut up, because sometimes, again, lashing out, as so many people do, create irreparable harm sometimes in relationships. So when sometimes you should always know probably what is the situation of the other person before saying something, and being very careful how you say it, because as I was listening to this morning, being self-righteous is so easy. I mean, all of us have fell into it all the time. And the fact is, as soon as you start talking about being or not being self-righteous, you tend to be self-righteous. So, it's careful. Yeah, I mean, it's careful. It's something you have to be careful about. It's one of the big things I find when you're a vlogger, is we do tend to give our opinion on subjects. And I know that sometimes we can give our opinion on subjects as if we're on Mount Sinai, a reference that not everybody will understand, but anyway, the thing is that sometimes we do tend to say that's the way it is. And like I say, depending on the subject, there are maybe different opinions. There are always, I would say, there's this thing is, would you go to war for it? And I think, or maybe you could even go further and say, would you die in battle for it? And there's a lot of things actually that do have gray areas, and it's just better to keep it that way. The other things, which are are true, sometimes you just have to double down and say, I'm sorry, I just cannot agree with you on that, but let's agree to disagree. And that is where probably a lot of the discussion in today's world has gone, is that nobody wants to agree to disagree. you have to fight until the bitter end, and hopefully one person will be gutted out at your feet. Now, you know, that sounds pretty hard saying that, but when you see sometimes the discussions lately, it really, really does look like that. So yeah, how do you know when you know you're right? How do you act? More and more, I think that actually it's shut up, use your eyes, and open your mouth only when needed. Make your acts talk for you. I think that a lot of time that is probably going to do a lot more than mindless words. Sticks and stones break my bones, but you know, words do not hurt me. We all know that's not true, and more it's proving itself to be actually completely false. Well, yeah, so that's my little take on this thing. What do you know? How do you act when you know you're right? Okay, maybe you can tell me what you think. DC signing off. Take care, everybody, and have a good Thursday. Bye.